Oh, it is. It is. What is today? Wednesday? Yeah. It's a Wednesday episode, a hump day episode of Donno Daily here on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. I am Alex Donno, taking you for the next 35, 40 minutes or so. God, I'm so sorry for being late. I live down in South Dade. I had to see somebody in Broward today. And rush hour, it's an all-day thing now, I guess. I don't think there's ever any let up in rush hour. So it took me almost an hour and a half to get home, but we are here. Happy hump day, baby Shaq. David tells me to stop mushing. Brooklyn Rob said, I hope your meeting was not with the Panthers. If so, they are doomed. We're going to get to them in a second. We will mostly be talking Heat on this episode. And you're welcome, Brooklyn Rob, because I talked a little bit about how bullish I was on the Panthers yesterday. And look what happened last night in Game 1. Now, today is the 4th of May. May the 4th be with you. Happy Star Wars Day to everyone watching this. Happy May the 4th. Now, Pat Riley surely is the Master Yoda of South Florida sports. I believe Eric Spoelstra is the Luke Skywalker of South Florida sports. After last night, I'm thinking the Florida Panthers might be the Jar Jar Binks of South Florida sports. Come on, guys. It looked slow in that game. I got excited when they had the 2-1 lead, but how do you piss it? How do you piss that? This team hasn't won a Game 1 at home since 1997 now. Come on, man. You're the number 1 seed in the East. You were the best regular season team in the NHL, the President's Trophy winners. You're going to go out there on home ice and let the 8 seed. I know the Capitals are a good 8 seed, whatever. You're going to go out there on home ice. You're going to let the 8 seed take home ice advantage away from you in one game. David says Donno is the Emperor Palpatine of South Florida sports. He is mushing his own teams. So far, the Heat have held strong, my friends. I know that there's a lot of basketball left to play, but the Heat have held strong. Game 2 tonight at FTX Arena. By the way, in a couple minutes here, Ethan J. Skolnick, the boss man himself, the CEO of the 5 Reasons Sports Network, and one of the best people in the country covering NBA basketball. I mean, Ethan does a bang-up job covering the Miami Heat. He's going to join us in a couple minutes to preview Game 2 tonight. So it's up to Philadelphia to see how they can adjust. They got slapped upside the head in Game 1 by our Miami Heat. And, of course, obviously, any game in a 7-game playoff series is important. You want to protect home court advantage. You smacked them in Game 1, 106-92. We're looking for the Heat to follow up that performance, but I believe there is extra incentive aside from every playoff game is important, protecting home court. I believe there's extra incentive, though, to win again tonight because you got to take advantage of every game that Joel Embiid is not able to play. And Ethan will help me shed some light on this. I mean, at least the way that they're talking out of Philadelphia makes it sound like he's going to try to give it a go at some point, Embiid. Game 3, maybe Game 4. I believe you have to take advantage of every opportunity without Joel Embiid. And I hear Doc Rivers, who's not a real doctor, clearly talking about sticking with DeAndre Jordan again tonight. That is an advantage Bam Adebayo and company were able to exploit in a big way. Bam had a 24-12 game in Game 1. And if you're going to be getting bum old ass DeAndre Jordan out there again for extended minutes tonight, you have to exploit that. And I know that our guest for the day, he is going to be out at the arena. There he is, the man, the legend, Ethan J. Skolnick. Ethan, how are you, sir?
Good to be with you, Mr. Donno. I feel like I've seen you today.
Yeah, it's a couple hours ago. And I literally just got home like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, how the hell is he gonna do this show? But we made it. We made it. That's
man.
right. I'm in the dark here anyway. I don't know. I don't really have my setup together yet. These when I know I've got one of these late games, it's kind of a late sort of getting myself together in the morning type thing. So we'll see how this goes.
That's actually not so bad compared to I had Alfredo Arteaga. I had him on from Vegas last week.
Good luck with that.
He was in the audio was pristine, but he was in a setup visually where, like, for some reason he couldn't turn his computer around, so he was like in front of the bright ass window, and all I could see was a silhouette. I could just see. So we called him Witness Protection Arteaga. Like, he looked as
That's
though
about right.
he was
He
uncovering
probably
a
should
mob
be,
scene.
Donno. He probably should be. I feel like Alfredo knows people who know people who know people who may know who he is. So I'm I was supposed to make that Vegas trip. I didn't. I mean, there really wasn't any reason to go. I mean, as it turned out with the Dolphins. I mean,
Yeah,
we could talk. We could talk about one Georgia linebacker only so much, right? Like there just wasn't a lot. But we appreciate the coverage that Matt and Alfredo and CK provided, and now I really don't have to think about the Dolphins again until training camp. So the problem with the Dolphins is there's just one topic. It's just like the Tua thing every day. I can't. I don't. Do they ever get tired of arguing it? Do you ever get tired of stoking it?
I was getting no, I was getting tired of it. And then when I see a video clip last night of Omar Kelly saying that he was golfing on a game day last year, the cycle, it comes back around, Ethan. The carousel comes right back around. But I have limited time.
Omar knows what he's doing. Omar knows what he's doing.
He does.
You just drop a bomb. Who did that? Why is everybody talking about Tua? There you go.
Well, and also it becomes because the Tua crowd is so defensive of their savior that they all want to kill the messenger. So now it's like Omar Kelly knew something that you have a right to tell people about. Like if you're sticking by factually, you're going on record saying this guy went golfing on a game day, but now all the Tua they're just all mad at Omar. Like, how dare he? He's got an agenda. Oh, I'm going to circle back to that, but I want to circle right into Miami Heat basketball with you, Ethan. So it went very well for Miami exploiting the lack of Joel Embiid in game 1. He's not going to play in game 2 either. So is there going to be an adjustment from Philadelphia's side of things? Because Doc makes it sound like everything's fine. DeAndre Jordan will figure it out. I'm not so sure about that one, Ethan.
Well, again, I think we have to understand what the playoffs are. I mean, after game 1, we pretty much declared Milwaukee, into the Eastern Conference Finals. Brown and Tatum couldn't do anything, and then Brown scored 17 in the first quarter last night. So, I mean, sometimes a series changes has nothing to do with adjustments. It just has to do with certain guys play better. That's it. So you look at Philadelphia's roster, say, okay, who can play better, right? Okay, well, Tobias Harris, that's pretty much high-end Tobias Harris. Like, I mean, he was efficient. He gave them consistent scoring, and he can't be counted on down the stretch. Like that is pretty much Tobias Harris, right? So, you look at the rest of the roster and you're like, okay, who else? Okay, Maxey and Harden, right? And, without doing the only thing that ESPN has done over the past 2 days, which is talk about James Harden. Is he playing against anybody? I'm not sure, because it just seems to me like watching, I had it on the background this morning, slightly groggy, and I'm watching, First Take, and it's 20 minutes on James Harden. I mean, he's not worth 2 minutes these days, in terms of the type of player he is. And JJ Redick made the point when he came on later that James Harden hasn't had a 30-point scoring game in like his last 15. He hasn't scored 25 his last 15 games. He's not even a high volume shooter anymore. Which was it's all step backs or flail for fouls. That's it. Okay, so can he play better? Yeah, he could play slightly better. Is he going to be 40-point James Harden? That player is gone. I'm sorry. Like it's inside. Lack of conditioning James Harden right now. That James Harden is somewhere inside. We're not finding that anymore. So really the only guy I look at on their team that can really play significantly better is Tyrese Maxey. And I thought Miami did a good job on him in game 1. But, Sean Rochester mentioned this, and I agree with it. They tried to speed him up a little bit, which worked in game 1. I'm not sure that's the strategy going forward because Maxey likes to play at that pace. But he's really the only guy. I mean, as far as Doc's adjustments, will he start DeAndre? It seems like he's just being stubborn at this point, and so he probably will start him one more game. I don't know if he wants to do that in Philadelphia because literally Doc will need witness protection himself if he starts DeAndre Jordan in Philadelphia in game 3. It's all they're talking about in Philly. Could he start Reed? I guess. I don't think that Reed's comments. I mean, I didn't even know who Reed was until 4 weeks ago. Paul Reed, his comments about how the Heat will back down if you're physical with was very
sad.
Well, very stupid for a guy with no pedigree to say. I mean, would the Heat say that? Like, it's just some of these teams. So anyway, he could start him. They could go smaller with George Yang, for more longer periods of the game. But ultimately, this team is built to play around Embiid. Like that's what they are. And so it's not easy for them to go like that. Like, again, probably the best thing is put Tobias Harris at the 5 and throw shooters out there. But like, it's not conventional for them. Like, this isn't like Golden State doing that, okay? Or the way that Memphis created an entirely different style without Ja Morant this year. Like that is, those teams are able to adjust. Miami has like 6 different ways they can play because there's 6 different, like, they had so many, not 6, they had 20 different lineup combinations that had to start this year because guys were out. So I just don't think it's going to be easy for Doc to make an adjustment. I think it really comes down to Maxey playing better, Harden being slightly better. But I think on Miami's end, I think there are some things that can be better for them too. Jimmy was not good in game 1.
No,
he wasn't. He's going. I think he probably needed another day or two. I didn't think he had his bounce from the beginning of the game. You can usually tell when he's near the rim. If he's trying to elevate and dunk or even get close to it, then his legs feel pretty good. He didn't look like that in game 1. Tyler and Bam breakouts, I think, are real. We've been waiting for those. I don't see why that changes. But here's the thing about the Heat, and this is why, to me, Philadelphia has no chance in this series regardless. The Heat have still not shot the 3 well in the playoffs. They were the best 3-point shooting team in the league during the regular season. And right now, out of the 16 playoff teams and I know some of them are not, obviously 8 are not in the second round, but of those 16 teams, they're 11th in 3-point shooting percentage. That will come up, okay, whether Duncan plays or not, although I do expect he probably will get some minutes tonight. So when Miami's shooting, progresses to the mean, I don't know how Philadelphia wins this series. The Heat are not going to shoot poorly, as poorly as they have, going forward. They will have a breakout game here at some point.
By the way, I want to apologize to anyone if my internet sucks today. I'm still on it. I'm still on the Cold War era replacement laptop. Like I was so excited at the end because my MacBook Pro had a completely burnt out battery, getting it replaced. They had to send it off to some secret lab somewhere, and so I'm on this literally 10-year-old MacBook Air, and I got excited at the end of my show yesterday because I received an email from the Genius Bar about how like my item was ready. So I thought my laptop was back. No, it's just the charger that they are replacing for me. So the laptop is still in a top secret warehouse somewhere, probably in Soviet Union. But so I'm still running this Cold War era MacBook today, and I am uploading a YouTube video at the same time that I am streaming live on YouTube. And I don't think this 1986 piece of machinery that I'm on can handle. So I apologize for that. Hopefully,
well, Donno, all I got to say is some of your words are in the present day and some of them are back in 1976. So we just have to get those words together because there's a little bit of a lag here.
Oh, man.
And we'll figure it out. But yeah, I mean, we have some issues with the StreamYard here. So understandable. I mean, I don't have my cord tangled today, so I'm kind of going against type. But yeah, I mean, look, Miami should win tonight. Okay. I mean, it's that simple. I mean, they should win tonight. They got a home game. They're healthy with the exception of Lowry. And the thing is, like, they made Lowry's absence kind of irrelevant in game 1 because they were up so big late. Like, to me, they can survive without Kyle Lowry until the last 4 or 5 minutes of a tight game. Like, that is where his value is most significant. And, so the fact that they were able to blow that thing out and Jimmy didn't even have to play the fourth quarter, they didn't need Kyle in game 1. Gabe was okay. I don't think he was very good in the first half. Kyle kept pulling him aside to go over stuff with him, but he kind of settled in the third quarter a little bit, and he really doesn't have to do that much. I mean, again, if you're going to put Hero in the game to run high pick and roll with Bam, you don't need a point guard. Like, I mean, you let Tyler handle that stuff like Devin Booker handles it when Chris Paul's out, or when CJ McCollum used to handle it when Dame Lillard was not on the floor. Like, Tyler can do those kind of things. So what I want to see tonight, I want to see if Spoelstra continues to experiment. I know some Heat fans are on me about this. I don't like the Butler, Hero, Oladipo lineup together. And I want to see if he uses Vic differently. I think Vic's value is Greg Savannah, my co-host, keeps saying this, and he's right. If they're going to win a championship this year, forget the future. Okay, and I know Greg always wants to go ahead in the future and transactions and all that, but so it's hard for him to do this. But look, we can have a discussion about Victor Oladipo and his role on the Heat going forward in the offseason. If he chooses to stay, if they choose to re-sign him, and you have a full training camp with him, and you can figure out how this is going to work, and maybe he is a starter, or maybe Tyler Hero is the starter next year, and Vic runs the bench, and they move Strus back to the bench, and maybe they trade Duncan Robinson. There's a lot of different ways that can go. But right now, in the middle of a playoff run, even if Vic is one of your 5 most talented players, he's not. I just keep saying he's not the best fit with certain guys on this team right now when they're trying to. I mean, they're trying to do this on the fly, and so. You can play Vic, but I think it's got to be with certain people. And I don't think one of those certain people is Jimmy Butler, particularly when Tyler Hero is also on the floor. It's just there's so many redundancies there that Tyler got comfortable when Jimmy and Depot went to the bench. Okay. So I just think that Spo's got to figure out if he's going to use that lineup, he can't use it for long stretches. But I would prefer that he figures out a way. Okay, you want to play Oladipo? Put Oladipo in a position where he's got some of the time with the ball can be in his hands. You want to play Hero? Yes. Okay. Again, you want to play Hero. So the ball in his hands. And then with Jimmy, you don't want Jimmy slowing pace too much, particularly without Lowry in there. But again, playing with Jimmy with Depot and having Jimmy run high pick and roll with Dwayne Dedman while Tyler and Vic are standing in the 2 corners, that's not the kind of offense that you want to play.
By the way, any intelligence on when and if Joel Embiid returns?
It's interesting. Greg reported that, and from a source, and that I know that he wasn't going to play the whole series. Then in Philadelphia, Tim Bontemps, who I'm friendly with, who covers the Sixers quite a bit, although he's now been assigned. He's covering this series both ways now, but. Tim told me he thinks Joel is going to push to come back. Whether they allow him to come back, and the circumstances of that is another issue. Remember, and then Woj, of course, reported that he could be back for Game 3. But remember, Woj also, Woj puts out what people want him to put out. So I never take it seriously until it actually happens because there's a lot of motives to say he will or he won't, and you're kind of setting up for an off season. You always got to look. When most post news items like that are kind of speculative, but he's leading you in a certain direction, you have to think about why it's being posted. Okay. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, you got Doc Rivers, who is kind of fighting it in Philadelphia right now, right? Like he's part of the reason Embiid's not playing in this series. Mike D'Antoni's specter is out there. Obviously, with Harden and Morey and all the rest of that, you kind of create, Houston Northeast or whatever. And so I look at it this way. If you're in a situation where they're like, and we see what happened with Simmons and all the behind the scenes stuff, there's a lot of leaking that goes on in Philadelphia. And I'm just wondering, like, okay, is maybe it getting out that Embiid might try to play in Game 3 so that Doc can kind of look like the responsible party by not putting him out there and trying to quote unquote save his job. So I'm trying to figure out what the motive of that report was because it was very non-specific. It wasn't he's going to play in Game 3. It's like there's a possibility holding, and then if he doesn't, nobody will ever remember it. So I don't know. The short and long answer is I don't know. I think that if you look at this injury, the concussion he needed a certain amount of days anyway, so he should be clear of that by Game 3. But if you look at the orbital bone, if he gets hit the wrong way again, I mean, there could be partial blindness. Okay, like this is not the kind of thing.
Well, how good are those masks? Because usually these guys just mask up.
Well, he wore it before. He wore it before, but last time he sat out 3 weeks, and he came back to play the Heat that season. So you're talking about 3 weeks. I mean, that's beyond this series. It's halfway into the next one if they made it, which none of us think they're going to. So I just think it's a challenge. Hey, Brooklyn Rob, yes, he is the mush. I was not at the Panther game last night, actually, and to be honest, for the first time in a long time, I didn't even watch it. I mean, I saw it in the background at it.
I watched it.
I have no responsibility.
Yeah. Brooklyn Rob knows I watched it because if I hadn't watched it, they would have won.
Right. Exactly. I heard they were bad last night, though. I'm not used to them being bad this year. Like, what is that? Like the whole year, isn't that screwed up? We'll get back to the Heat. But the Heat haven't dealt with this yet because they won. They took care of business against Atlanta and they won their home games. But like the whole year, like 80 something games that you're playing in the NHL, that grind to get home ice, and you basically come out with one bad period and it's gone. It's just so bad. That's why I say, like, everybody's like, how far are the Panthers going to go? I said, they're the best team I've ever seen down here. I mean, it's the best Panther team in history. They have the most talent, and they absolutely could lose in 5 games in the first round because that's the Stanley Cup playoffs. Like, that's just it doesn't seem to matter how good you are. Ultimately, it's just matchups and goaltending. That's it. So anyway, back to the Heat.
Oh, but real quick, one more thing on the Panthers. Can I make a request that, especially since they seem to be playing alternate nights now, can we assign Brady Hawk to go out and cover Panthers home playoff games? Because he's been bringing the Heat sensational luck. Maybe Brady could be the key for the Panthers.
Yeah, you know what? I'll have to ask him, but I don't think he. We're going to try Alex Baumgartner next week. Caitlin Daly didn't work last night in terms of providing a victory. But I don't think Brady even knows what hockey is. Like,
I don't think it matters. Just send him. Just send him out there.
I mean, you know what? And I say that, and within 3 days, he would be breaking down the power play and why the puck needs to go into the slot to this guy in this situation. So I'm not going to underestimate it, but I don't think he knows anything about hockey. I'll just say this. The Panthers should have gotten out of the first 2 games at home 2-0. The Heat will get out of the first 2 games 2-0. This James Harden is not scaring anybody, okay, at all right, except the scale, okay? That's the only thing he's scaring. There's I mean, it was one thing when he couldn't get past Tucker, okay, because, and I said this on Flying on the Floor, like, PJ Tucker is, obviously a great positional defender, played with him in Houston, knows him very well. Like, I'm watching, and it's comical watching him try to get past PJ, but that's one thing, okay? Or Jimmy Butler or whatever. It's another thing when literally, and no disrespect to Maximilian Strus, but like, it's another thing, 3 straight possessions in the fourth quarter when they were trying to go by, and Harden is using every move that he has at his disposal, and Max Strus is shutting them all down. Like, that's just, I mean, could you imagine like Harden from 5 years ago? Wow. I mean, a team throwing, so again, Max tries as a defender, but being comfortable with that matchup, and not only were you comfortable, but like literally James had no chance at all. So, I mean, I say that he'll drop 45 tonight and end up at Tootsie's right afterwards, but I don't think he has it in him right now. I just don't. And I think the Heat know that. And that's why the scheme in game 1 was really to try to take Maxey away, and they were effective in that.
And okay, so before we let you run, a couple things, but most importantly, I would like your prediction on tonight, because you did mention, we saw how lopsided game 1 was in favor of Milwaukee in the other series. Game 2, lopsided in favor of Boston. We're not going to let that happen tonight, are we, Ethan?
No, I think it's a similar game. It may not be the same guys. I like I said, I think you're going to see a much better Jimmy Butler tonight. But I think it's a similar game in the sense of, Miami. I know the spread's 8. It makes me a little uncomfortable, but I think you're somewhere in the 6 to 10 point range that you win. Look, they also know that if they don't win, that all of a sudden, the Embiid specter is more out there, because then there is more pressure on Joel to play. I think if they're down 2-0, and you can even sense this from ESPN, and the rest of the media, which badly wants Philadelphia to win because they don't want to actually have to learn any of the names of the players on the Heat.
But don't they want to go to Miami, though? It's the
just
thing.
One guy. I mean, Stephen A. South Beach. What the hell am I missing in South Beach, Alex? I don't know. I've lived down here for 30. I mean, I've been to South Beach many times, but seriously, like, it's like 15th on the list. What the hell is Stephen A. doing? Okay, we know what he's probably doing.
And now, of course, I'm the most boring person in the 305, but I haven't crossed that bridge in like 15 years, man. I mean, I just don't go out there.
The only time I've crossed that bridge in the last 3 years is to take my daughter to the Miami Children's Museum. Like, that's literally it. Like, that's where I stop. And then I turn around and look, I've been to all those places. It's not even stone crab season. You're not going to Joe's. And can I say this real clear here? Okay. And Miami people are going to say Prime 112 is exceptionally overrated. I agree. It's good. It's good. I'm not going to say it's not good. I've gone to events there. I've gone to dinner there. Prime Italian across the street is good. Okay. I sat there with George Sedano trying to stalk Ray Allen when we thought that did I ever tell you that story? What George and I did?
No, what happened?
So George used to know someone he probably still does at Prime 112, and this is when the Heat were pursuing Ray Allen. So this was 2012 offseason, right?
Yeah.
So he's like, okay, he says to me, he says, why don't we go sit at Prime Italian across the street? It is Stone Crab season.
See, I wasn't sure. I
Are we just out of it?
I thought it was like, is it the months that end in R, or am I thinking something else? I don't know. And I love stone crabs, but I don't keep up with the seasons that closely.
I haven't been to Joe's in about a year, but yeah, I appreciate that info because that might change my plans. I may go to South Beach or something. Poppy Steaks, I've been there too. Yeah, there's good places. There's also like good places 3 blocks from me on Las Olas. I just don't understand the.
There's good places in Kendall, people. There's good places in Kendall.
I'll take your word for that.
I don't even believe myself when I say that.
I'll take you. There's good places in Doral now. Look, okay. So anyway, here's a quick story. I'll just tell this one. A few weeks left. All right, I'll have to get down there. Thank you, Sam. So we heard that Ray was going to be. Yes, Capital Girls. There's a whole bunch of steak places.
Yeah, but Capital Grill's a chain though. Like you can eat at Capital Grill in Orlando, but it is
Frisco's
very good.
Here is as good as Prime. They're all Morton's. Yeah. They're all this Ruth's Chris.
They're all good.
They're all good. I mean, you're paying, but they're all good. All right. So anyway, just to finish this. So George gets this word that Ray is going to be with Pat and Andy and Spo and Mickey at Prime 112. Okay. So we get a tip. So he's like, let's go to Prime Italian. We'll eat meatballs and we'll look across the street. And we'll take some pictures when they come out. Okay. Or whatever. Or maybe try to catch up with Ray on the way out. So we're sitting there eating our meatballs and like, we're sitting there for like an hour. There's like no activity. There's no nothing. And then all of a sudden we're checking Twitter, and I guess they threw a total head fake, and some 13-year-old kid was at, I don't know if it was Novecento, one of the restaurants like on Brickell.
Wow.
And they're taking all these great pictures of Spo and Andy and Ray and all this. So basically we would be the worst stalking, police officers like on a stakeout ever, because we literally were like watching the wrong place for 3 hours. And then Ray signed the next night, and it was some 13-year-old kid on Twitter that broke it.
Please tell me that was Brady Hawk.
It probably was Brady. Well, but Brady at that point.
Yeah, it would have been like 9 or 10.
2012. Brady was 8. Brady was 8.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. The math doesn't add up. It would have been the greatest ending to that story would be, and that kid was Brady Hawk.
It probably could be. Well, have you seen that? Have you seen the TikTok of the kid that, and Bam reacted to it? The kid on that basically was talking about the Phoenix Suns and never won a championship. Have you seen this?
Yeah.
You got to check it out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's Brady. You know that, right? I think the child is 7, but no, it's that's Brady right now. That's Brady.
Oh, I see what you. Yeah. I was gonna say. I'm like, wait. Oh my god, totally. So
anyway, that's all I got. Your wireless is better right now.
I think it's probably because what I was uploading is done. I knew it. So I was trying to multitask because I had to upload a YouTube video for Locked On. And I'm like, I got like a 3:15 deadline. So I'm going to have to go live while I'm uploading. It's done uploading, of course. So now I'm actually coming in clear. Before I let you run, I will, they're trying to out me in the chat, although I don't feel like I did anything wrong. So I'm going to out myself. So I awarded Brooklyn Rob with a gift card last week, a quarter deck gift card that I was like 5 months late giving to him for a prize. Yes. And then the gift card didn't work. I think I pulled up the wrong message. Ethan Donno pushes Fugazi gift card. I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe the magnetic strip got exposed to something. I did not intentionally hand you a counterfeit gift card. So you can take it up with customer service now, Rob.
By the way, I have about $250 in I Love Mac and Cheese gift cards that I forgot to give away 2 years ago. Do gift cards typically still work 2 years later? Because I'm afraid to give these away because then all of a sudden somebody takes a gift card and it's like a Donno gift card that doesn't work. Right, I don't want to do that to anybody.
Well, apparently there may have been like an expiration on, because I think that the one I was supposed to give it to Rob in like October and I gave it to him in April. So I don't know. Something might have changed. I think another thing though that happens is, like if they ever change their computer systems or something, then it may not be set to run the old gift cards. So I don't know. You either be like me, just give them out. Like don't worry about it later.
On Donno Daily. If you love mac and cheese and you want to take a chance that this thing will work, here it is. I don't think they expire. Yeah, that's maybe not. Anyway, so yeah, I'm going to the game tonight. If they don't win, I guess you can blame me. Brady and Alex will be there too. And we got before floor at 6:30.
Beautiful.
Post up 5 hour after the game, 5 on the floor. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. We went over 18,000 subs on the channel yesterday, so that was nice.
I saw that. That's big.
So we appreciate everybody helping us out with that, and hopefully this is a long playoff run, and we can keep pushing it further. But I do think they win tonight. I would be very surprised. The focus around the team, from everybody I've spoken to, has been very good in terms of understanding what needs to be done. And I think that after they got sideways about 3-4 weeks before the end of the regular season, since then, they have turned this thing around in a positive way. And Eric Spoelstra, we did an episode on Eric today and sort of what his biggest challenges are. And I said his biggest challenges to me are still the thing we haven't really had to see a whole lot of, which is the late game offense. I think if they can clean up the late game offense, but we didn't need to see it in game one. I don't know that we'll need to see it in this game. But to me, that and keeping Bam aggressive, I think if those two things happen, this team can absolutely go to the finals.
He's Ethan J. Skolnick. Make sure you check out everything he's a part of on the network. Starting 9, 5 on the floor, which is great. All the before floor coverage and after floor and during floor. Ethan is everywhere, man, and we appreciate you.
Floor burns. Yeah, I'm running out of things to do with floors. But speaking of which, we could use a flooring sponsor.
Ooh,
that would be great.
I like that.
That would be great. So
Wouldn't
if anybody runs a flooring company, we have like a Hurricane Shutters company. We've got water cleanup for your mold and your fire and damage and all that. Flooring company. That's what we need. Okay. How did I not think of that before? Anyway.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. We should reach out to Don Bailey. We'll see what he's up to these days.
Is Don Bailey still hanging out like half naked on I-95 on the side of a building?
You
never seen that girl?
Of course, yeah. Well, because it was his dad, right, in the original, and he's done like the recreation of it. I'm pretty sure those are still out there. Those billboards, like you can't get rid of those. Like those are timeless.
Yeah. No, that's true. That's a good point.
A little disturbing, but timeless.
I want to get the thought out of my head now. All right, take care, Donno.
See you, man.
Bye.
Always love chatting with Ethan Skolnick. I want to remind you guys, if you're here, whether you're watching us live at 3:08 p.m. May the 4th be with you, year of our Lord 2022, or you're watching this later on via replay, do us a solid, smash that like button, and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Everything helps the channel. You smash the like button, more people are going to see this video, and more people will subscribe. And if you're here and you haven't subscribed yet to 5 Reasons Sports on YouTube, make sure you do. And let's take 5RSN to the moon, baby. So all right, we've established that I somehow mushed the Panthers. We hope Ethan does not mush the Miami Heat tonight. Okay, so another thing, Tyler Hero was he's been officially awarded with 6th Man of the Year. I don't have a whole lot to say about that because it was so obvious. Like, the only thing that I'm kind of annoyed with are that there are 4 chuckleheads who did not vote for him, which is just ridiculous. But he gets 6th Man of the Year. Should have been unanimous. I loved Udonis Haslem presenting it to him. That was really cool. Another thing that people are talking about, and I want to go a little bit more in depth on this on tomorrow's episode, when we'll branch out a little bit more from Heat Talk tomorrow, I think. So Omar Kelly, and this came out, I think it was an appearance where he first said this on the Big O show. I watched this clip. Omar Kelly revealed that before the game day of a regular season game last year, Tua Tagovailoa went golfing. Game day of a regular season game. Now, is him going golf? I hope he never does it again. Okay, like I hope he doesn't do it again on game day. It's terrible optics, and yeah, you don't think that could make you a little bit sore if you play a game? So I hope he doesn't do it again. Is this like some smoking gun that's like, you see, this guy's never going to be a franchise quarterback because he went golfing on game day last year? I think he can put it behind him. I'm not making any sweeping judgment about the guy, but I will tell you guys out there, because I see some of the radicalized TuaNon members, even like Big O, when he was talking with Omar. Big O is a huge Tua stan. When Omar said it and Big O was like, so what? So what if he went out golfing on a game day? Like, you can't. It's a terrible look for a starting quarterback of an NFL team. Terrible, terrible look. Okay? Awful look. And for the radicalized TuaNon members that are coming out and saying, like, who cares? Not a big Tua, if you want to do it every Sunday, who cares? Every game day, go out there, do it. Don't be a hypocrite, okay? Because I guarantee you out there, the super zealous Tua fans who are like, oh, it's not a problem. Don't worry about it. Don't be a hypocrite, because if this news came out that Mac Jones, who you all love to banter, now I think Tua is better than Mac Jones, and I know it annoys Dolphin fans when Mac Jones get the media coverage that Tua, I don't even know if Tua deserves more media coverage, but Mac Jones is a media darling and he hasn't really earned it yet, and it bothers the Tua. I think Tua is better than Mac Jones. If it came out that Mac Jones went golfing on a game day last season, or Justin Herbert went golfing on game day last year, the guys that Tua fans love to compare Tua to, don't you think you'd be chirping? Yeah, you'd be chirping. So don't be a hypocrite. Don't try to say, oh, it's not a problem. He was golfing. If that was Mac Jones or Justin Herbert, this news came out about, and not Tua, you Tua fans would absolutely be chirping. So just admit, at the very least, it's bad optics. At the very least, it's not something you want your starting NFL quarterback doing on game day. It's bad optics at the very least. I don't think he's ever going to do it again, because now that he's seeing people catching wind of this, and the coverage is out there and it's going viral, I don't think he's ever going to do it again now, and hope he doesn't do it again, because it looks terrible, man. Looks terrible. Um, Somebody says, isn't Johnny Manziel now a golfer? Is he? Is he still doing Johnny football? Is he still doing the fan controlled football league thing, which is that's like a part-time job. Like, it's not even like, it's like a semi-pro football league. Uh, David says Tua should go bowling before a game. That'd be funny. Here's the thing. I don't know. Did people report which game it was? I don't know which game it was. I know it wasn't the Jaguars game, because I doubt he went golfing in London before. Although I'm sure they do have nice courses out there in London, but it probably wasn't the Jaguars game. I don't know which game it was. If anybody caught wind of that, because it was not said in the video clip that I saw which game it was. I don't know. Baby Shaq says, golfing on game day should be reserved for people like Russ, Brady, Big Ben, actual quarterbacks that know what the fuck they're doing. Here's the thing, though. Like, Tom Brady would never go golfing on game day. Like, you're mentioning Big Ben might. He's kind of a knucklehead. But like Tom Brady, Russ, they wouldn't go golfing on game day. They know better. They know at the very least it was bad. Oh, Ray is saying that it was the Ravens game, which was played at night. Still, though, like, Tua was purportedly injured during that time. So you shouldn't have been golfing before that game or any game. Tua fans prefer context, somebody says. Mush was golfing before the show today. That's why he was like, I know if I went golfing before a show, that's bad optics, my friends. I save my golfing for the off days. I save the golfing for the off days. All right. So again, I want to remind you guys, as we're going to wrap it up here in a few minutes, make sure you smash the like button, and subscribe to 5 Reasons Sports on YouTube. God, I called out Tua, so probably nobody's going to smash the like button today. So smash the like button for the channel. If you're not going to smash it for me, smash it for the 5 Reasons Sports Network, and spread the word about this channel. Guys, we have an official sports book here on Donno Daily. People are winning money every single day at betus.com. This is the time, guys, to be at betus.com, America's favorite sports book. It's a full-service online sports book, fully available in Florida. Basketball playoffs, hockey playoffs, Champions League soccer, UFC pay-per-view this weekend. There is so much to wager on. You can wager on all of it, including live betting, at betus.com. Fully available in Florida, guys. You're going to love it. It's like being in Vegas. I think a lot of people who've never used betus.com are like, well, can I really get all the spreads and the parlays and the money lines? Anything you can do at a Vegas sports book, you can do at betus.com. If you haven't tried it, sign up today, because we have the best bonus in the industry for you. Use our show code 5RSN125. When you make your deposit, use our code 5RSN125. Write it down if you think you're going to forget it. And they're going to give you a 125% signing bonus. 125%. If you deposit $100, they're going to give you $125 on top of your deposit in free play money. And bet sports. Play in the full online casino. Guys, I play blackjack in there for real money. It's a lot of fun. You can bet pop culture props, bet on the horses, live betting on all of it. BetUS.com. Use our code 5RSN125. You bet, you win, you get paid. BetUS.com. Tony Two Times says, I don't mind golfing before a night game. Golf is a game of zen where you only think about the game and your goal. Maybe it was a form of meditation to clear his head. David says, the hat I'm wearing is a hat for golf. Yeah, I look like a Scottish golfer when I wear this hat. Yeah, I got the Payne Stewart hat. Oh, man. I know Color is not a big Tua fan, so he's probably outraged by the golfing. I'm just telling you, man, just golfing on game day is a bad look. It's a bad look. I mean, physically, it can be a little bit taxing. It's a bad look. And I will not come down from that hill. And by the way, you hypocrites out there, admit it to me. For those who were saying, oh, I don't care if he was golfing on a game day. If that was Mac Jones or Justin Herbert, you would be ripping them senseless. Don't be a hypocrite. Give it the same sort of energy and coverage you would give if it was a quarterback you're not a big fan of. And again, I want Tua to succeed. I don't want him to be golfing on game days anymore. I don't want him to be like Johnny Manziel. He's already had a better NFL career than Johnny Manziel ever did and ever will, by the way. David says, can Tua not golf after a winning game either? Well, that's a little bit late to start because the earliest you'd be able to start is like 4:35 p.m. But no, I mean, theoretically, right after a win, you go to like Top Golf, do some night driving range. That's fine. Just don't do it on game day before the game. That's all. That's all. Indade says Big O made a mountain out of a molehill. Well, didn't Omar? Because Big O was the one who was trying to minimize it. He was like, who cares? And he even outed the media member that he was golfing with. I think he said it was Cam Wolf. Like he even outed the person who was out there with him. So he was trying to minimize it. I think it was Omar that made a mountain out of a molehill. Hello to Ray Grullon. Says, great new Obi-Wan series trailer today. Ooh, I haven't watched that yet, the trailer. Omar Kelly is such a flip-flop when it comes to Tua. Every quarterback in the NFL plays golf. But do they play on game day, Ray? I think Tom Brady waits for the offseason, or at least an off day. Hello to, I already said hi to David. Hello to Tony Two Times. Hello to Greg. God, I love UD. And it was cool to see UD present the Sixth Man of the Year to Tyler Hero yesterday. And they're going to have a ceremony in the arena tonight before tip-off, which means there's not going to be many people there to watch it before tip-off. But yeah, they're going to be having that tonight at the arena. Frank, thank you so much for tuning in. Sam, a lot of people were saying restaurants that they like in Miami because Ethan just totally shat on Miami because he's a Broward guy through and through. I'm a Kendall guy. I don't leave the Kendall area. Greg, thank you so much for tuning in. If I shout out some of the same people, I apologize. It happens. And if I miss anybody, I apologize. Especially when I'm using, my friends, I'm still using Cold War era 2012 MacBook Air. Very, very old laptop because my regular laptop is in Genius Bar. It is in shop getting repair. So this thing is barely running, man. And very small screen. The print is very small. I can barely read your messages today. I need bifocals or something. Let me throw out a few shout outs before we get out of here. I know I've already shouted out Brooklyn Rob. Doug E. Fresh. He's not a fan of the Dolphins mascot TD. Chuck E. Cheese has band members with more appeal. Looks like a grouper wished it was a human and changed his mind halfway. That's a very detailed description of TD. I've never given TD, the Dolphins mascot, that much thought. I'm going to be honest with you. Big Dan 305, hello. Jacob, hello. Marco has given me the nickname in honor of Star Wars Day, Jar Jar Jinx. That's pretty good. because I am the mush. I do jinx our team. So far, the Heat have not been jinxed in the playoffs, at least not yet. The Florida Panthers, though, dropping that game one, that was rough. That was rough. Hello, baby Shaq. Thank you for tuning in today. And I think that might be it. I might have missed a few people. I apologize. Again, make sure you support prizepicks.com, betus.com. Make sure you smash that like button. And we will talk to you guys again tomorrow. I will not be late tomorrow. I am not planning. I know 10 minutes ago I said I never leave Kendall. I left Kendall today, and it reminded me why I don't leave Kendall, because I went up to Fort Lauderdale, and the traffic from Fort Lauderdale getting back to Kendall early afternoon, supposedly before rush hour, it sucked. It sucked. So I will never leave Kendall again. I'm not going to any meetings tomorrow, so I will be here on time tomorrow. And we will talk to you then on another episode of Donno Daily on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. See ya.